Good morning. This is Michael B. of Higher Truth. This is a reply to a member of the Pit on Facebook who is a liberal, and we've been having a decent discussion on the differences between, capitalism versus government intervention. And I'm not going to mention the person's name, but she'll know who I'm talking to. She talks about how single payer and universal health care would cover everybody and take out the middleman, the insurance companies, and everything would be great. Okay, first of all, by getting rid of all the insurance companies, you're basically eliminating competition. And you are creating a monopoly in the healthcare system run by the government. Now, I don't know how many of you or her remember Bell Telephone. Bell Telephone was the only game in town, folks, for US and Canada. They ran all communications. And if you would remember, long distance charges sometimes were in the next town over, certainly the next county. And that stopped people from calling each other. I remember my mother saying, "This is long distance, it's gotta hang up." Boom. In 1982, under a Republican president, AT&T Corp was chopped up into several different companies, and the telephone industry was deregulated. What did that cause? It caused companies like MCI and Sprint, and then so many other companies to be born. It created innovation, it created competition, and what did we see happening? We started seeing prices drop. And it was the same thing when we had the internet. The internet came and it was over the phone lines. And people were hit with hundreds and hundreds of dollars on their bill. They were in shock. AOL and Netscape were really the only two biggest internet companies. Well, phone companies wanted a piece of that pie, which the government didn't interfere in. So all of these phone companies and all these other different companies started coming in as internet service providers, and they competed for your business. And what happened? We got unlimited calling plans. So people could surf the net for hours and hours and hours and could afford it. If they didn't do that, we would not have the internet. That's my contention. We would not have the internet that we have it today. We would not have communications today if that monopoly, Bell Telephone, was still in charge. If the government did not deregulate it, we would not have communications today. You know, Henry Ford didn't need the government to tell him to revolutionize the auto industry. Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin did not need government to invent, create, and innovate. The dot-com exploded into being, and this great internet we have created in Silicon Valley. The government wasn't involved. It wasn't regulated. And we had a huge boom. Government cannot pick winners and losers, and the single payer will create a monopoly. And honestly, do you want to trust your government with your health? Do you honestly want to do that? We're in the shape we're in because Glass-Steagall was repealed under a Democrat president. And that's how we have the derivative market. Okay? And that's why we crashed in 2008. Bill Clinton, and I read his biography, did you? And he admitted it. He strong-armed the banks into giving risky loans to minorities. He put the pressure. And these banks and these mortgage companies knew that these mortgages would not hold. Government cannot pick winners and losers. Government does not innovate. And this is why the founding fathers wanted a small, limited government using judicial and reasonable regulation. Not this overreach. Communism doesn't work. And the reason why you think that people are clamoring for universal health care and this utopian society where everybody's covered, people are desperate. And I said that in my other video, The Appeal of Bernie Sanders. People are desperate. And these vultures pick up on that, manipulate that, abuse that desperation to tickle your ears. We need our jobs to come home. We need Glass-Steagall back. We need the commercial and investment banks to be separate once again. We need jobs home. And there's only one man that has skin in the game. And that's Donald Trump. He knows that the more this country slides down, the more equality jobs go away. He's going to lose customers. Yes, he's a worldwide businessman, but guess what? His bread and butter is in America, and he knows. Every time somebody who's making 75, 100, 120 grand loses their job, you know what? He loses a potential customer at his hotels and at his golf courses. He gets it. All of the other candidates, from Cruz to Sanders, no matter who wins, they go back to business as usual. They go back to the government jobs. Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton can give BS speeches, can live off these fabricated dynasties they've created. Trump and his kids, he knows he'll lose. He'll lose everything at some point. This encroachment on government, this socialism, this communism cannot work in the United States of America. And you people have to stop comparing the United States to Denmark, Sweden, and Germany. We're not built that way. Our schematics are not designed that way. We resemble the USSR. You go look at what their budget was, and its budget was, in the waning years of the Soviet Union. You go look at it. You go look at how much territory they own. You look at how big their army got. You look how big their, Confederate borders got. They had to protect everything. You go look at that. And then you compare it to the United States, people. Socialism and so-called free stuff may work in a tiny country that has no other territories, no other confederation of states, doesn't have a huge military, doesn't have a huge expanse to so-called protect. But you want to know the truth? They're going bankrupt. The whole Nile Delta, Spain, Italy, Greece, Portugal, they're tanking, folks. Because they got their ears tickled too with free stuff. It's not free. And Donald J. Trump is the only one that has something to lose if you and I bite the dust. And that's why he needs to become president. Because you know what? By him saving his legacy and his family, it saves ours. Because, ladies and gentlemen, he needs us to prosper for him to prosper. This is Michael B. of Higher Truth, and I hope my message resonates.